Okay, Wajahat, your response.
Yeah, with human rights lawyers like Brooke Goldstein, who needs genocidal sociopaths? Brooke Goldstein's the same person who publicly said there's no such thing as a Palestinian person. Well, Israel has killed 61,000 Palestinians in real time. We've seen it with our eyes. Israel has also injured 150,000 Palestinians. Just yesterday, Piers, just yesterday, Israel killed 83 unarmed Palestinians, 58 of them who were gathered at food aid distribution sites. As you know, as we talked about on your show, Haaretz has said, quoting IDF soldiers, that they were commanded to shoot and kill at unarmed Palestinians who are starving gathered at food aid distribution sites. Since May, Piers, over 1,200 Palestinians have been killed by Israel. Brooke says anyone who criticizes Israel, right, they're supporting Hamas, promoting Hamas. Each time Brooke says Hamas, take a shot of alcohol, you'll be dead of alcohol poisoning in 2 minutes, right? But the reality is, folks, is that Israel is occupying the West Bank and Gaza. Israel is the one creating a man-made starvation. Just yesterday, Piers, 8 Palestinian children died of starvation. That number is increasing. Brooke is one of those people who would put a microphone in front of these starving Palestinian kids and say, do you condemn Hamas? This is a man-made campaign. I just want to say just yesterday, Israeli senior official close to Netanyahu, this is their quote, Piers, the die is cast. We're going for full conquest. If the chief of staff doesn't agree, he should resign. I've been on your show before. Does that sound familiar? Here's Smotrich, the finance minister of Israel. We're conquering, cleansing, and remaining in Gaza until Hamas is destroyed. The prime minister, Netanyahu, said he praised that quote. And then if you're talking about, oh, it's only us who are criticizing, Israel. Well, how about the former prime minister of Israel, Ehud Olmert? This is his words. I'm going to quote him. What we're doing in Gaza now is a war of devastation, indiscriminate, limitless, cruel, and criminal killing of civilians. Yes, Israel is committing war crimes. Here's another former prime minister, Yair Lapid. I don't prefer to describe Netanyahu's humanitarian city as a concentration camp, but if exiting is prohibited of the Palestinians, then it is a concentration camp. And then finally, here is the United Nations Secretary General. Gaza is a horror show with a level of death and destruction without parallel in recent times. Piers, I ask you, do we ignore the evidence of our eyes? Do we ignore the evidence of our ears? Of course not. You and I have talked about this for nearly 2 years now. We are seeing a genocide. It's not my word. Omar Bertov, one of the most preeminent genocide scholars in the world, Israeli, Jewish American, is saying it's a genocide. Amnesty International. And if you don't like the word genocide, war crimes. This can end, and I agree with your other guests, if President Trump picks up the phone and calls Netanyahu, just like it happened with Reagan, just like it happened back in the day with Dwight Eisenhower, America shuts off the tap. Israel cannot continue this war without U.S. funding, weapon, and aids. And then maybe, just maybe, there might be a path towards peace. But this right now is a genocide. And anyone, after 2 years, who comes on your show and defends it is a genocidal sociopath, and they should be called out publicly.
Okay, well, back to my panel in a moment. Wajahat, can you just give your final response to what you just heard?
Yeah, I've been invited on your show for the past 2 years, Piers, and increasingly I feel like I don't have to say anything. We just have to let the pro-Israel advocate speak openly. And then the world, with their own ears, hears the genocidal rhetoric, the cruelty. The world has been radicalized in real time because they have seen a genocide streamed to their phone. Again, I want to remind everyone that 61,000 Palestinians have been killed by Israel. That's an undercount. Lancet, the medical journal, says probably 40% higher. Israel has also bombed churches because there are Palestinian Christians that it has killed and occupies. And I also want to remind people that Israel currently occupies the West Bank. Hamas does not control the West Bank. There are 2.5 million Palestinians there who live under military law, unequal conditions, conditions of apartheid. That's not my words. That's Amnesty International, Jimmy Carter, Desmond Tutu, who knows a thing or two about fighting apartheid. I want to remind everyone, trust the evidence of your eyes where you see starving children, where humanitarian aid is being blocked right now, where there are more child amputees in Gaza than any other place in the world. That's thanks to Israel. More children have been killed by Israel in Gaza than in all the war zones combined in the past 2.5 years. We are seeing it with our eyes. And just listen to Israel and Israel's leadership. I want to again quote the senior officials close to Netanyahu, who said this week, the die is cast. We're going for full conquest. If the chief of staff doesn't agree, he should resign. And your guest, Brooke Goldstein, who is, sorry, an award-winning human rights lawyer, says there's no such thing as Palestinian person. Folks, what you're seeing right now to my left is a genocidal sociopath. She is the villain. Let me finish. You've spoken a lot. You've spoken a lot. I've kept quiet. I've spoken the least. What you're seeing to my left is Brooke Goldstein. She's going to be the villains of our children's history books. People, speak up, speak out, convince your government to do more. Israel is on a self-destructive path. And I believe people like Gershon, who lives in Israel, he cares about Israel. He cares about Israel's future. He cares about the safety and security of Jews and Palestinians. The path of Netanyahu, the path of Smotrich, the path of Ben Gvir is of Jewish supremacy and extremism. It will annihilate Palestinians. It will make the region less safe, less volatile. By the way, Israel, under Netanyahu's government, has done 35,000 targeted strikes against 4 countries and Palestinians, right? This extremist organization, this extremist regime, the Netanyahu regime, has to be replaced. We need better leadership, and we need a pathway for Palestinians to finally have self-determination and freedom. It's the only way. The path of Brooke is destruction and annihilation for Palestinians, and also it is terrible for Jews around the world. Hopefully, everyone watching looks at the evidence of their eyes and their ears, and the evidence shows you a story of Israeli genocide against the Palestinian people.